The truth behind Japan's shadowy ninja legends. Imagine being able to walk through walls, control minds, and vanish into thin air. While these powers might sound like something from a Marvel movie, for centuries, many believed that an elite group of Japanese spies could do exactly that. But the truth about these shadowy agents is even more fascinating than the myths. The year is 1562. A samurai general celebrates his victory, drinking sake in his heavily fortified castle. Guards patrol every entrance. Archers watch from the towers. Yet somehow, by morning, the general is dead, with no signs of forced entry, no witnesses, and no trace of the killer. This wasn't Hollywood magic. This was the work of the shinobi, or as we know them today, the ninja. But forget everything you think you know about these mysterious agents. The real ninja would laugh at the black pajama-clad warriors you've seen in movies. Their true techniques were far more sophisticated and far more terrifying. Welcome to a journey into the hidden world of Japan's most misunderstood warriors. These are 7 mind-bending facts about ninja that will forever change how you see these legendary spies. First, let's shatter the most basic ninja myth: their appearance. If you're picturing a warrior in black clothes throwing shuriken stars, you're already wrong. The real ninja were masters of disguise, and their most powerful weapon wasn't a sword or a throwing star. It was their ability to become invisible by hiding in plain sight. Historical records show that ninja frequently posed as farmers, merchants, and even Buddhist monks. Why? Because these were people who could move freely through society without raising suspicion. A traveling monk asking for shelter at a castle? Nobody would think twice. A merchant selling goods in a military camp? Perfect cover for gathering intelligence. Take the famous ninja Mitsuhide Akechi. In 1582, he needed to gather intelligence about Nobunaga Oda's forces. Instead of scaling walls in black garb, he disguised himself as a simple sake merchant. For weeks, he freely walked through enemy territory, selling drinks to soldiers while mapping their defenses and noting their weaknesses. The soldiers literally shared their secrets over drinks with the very man who would help orchestrate their downfall. But the ninja's mastery of disguise went far beyond just changing clothes. They studied human behavior with an intensity that would impress modern psychologists. They learned to copy local dialects and mannerisms perfectly. They memorized the detailed social customs of every role they might need to play. From the specific way a Buddhist monk would hold his prayer beads to how a merchant from Osaka would haggle differently than one from Edo. This leads us to our second shocking fact. The ninja were pioneers of psychological warfare, those iconic throwing stars. They weren't primarily meant to kill. They were tools of terror, often coated with poison or written with threatening messages. The goal wasn't just to eliminate targets, it was to create fear and chaos. Consider the case of the Koga ninja clan in 1579. They needed to demoralize a besieged castle without engaging in direct combat. Their solution? They used poisoned shuriken to kill a few guards, but more importantly, they spread rumors that the weapons were cursed by Buddhist monks. The psychological impact was devastating. Within days, guards were deserting their posts, terrified of the cursed weapons that could strike from nowhere. This psychological expertise extended to their training as well. Unlike the purely physical training you might imagine, ninja spent years mastering meditation and breathing techniques. They developed what we'd now call mindfulness, centuries before it became a modern buzzword. Why? Because they understood that true stealth required complete control over both body and mind. Documents from the Fujibayashi ninja clan describe exercises where apprentices would have to sit perfectly still in the wild for hours, training themselves to blend with nature so completely that animals would come right up to them. This wasn't just about physical stillness. It was about achieving a state of mental calm so profound that they could virtually disappear into their surroundings. Think about that for a moment. While Hollywood shows ninja jumping from rooftop to rooftop, the real ninja might have been sitting quietly in the garden right next to their target, disguised as a humble groundskeeper, gathering intelligence while maintaining such perfect mental calm that no one would give them a second glance. This brings us to our third remarkable fact. The ninja were technological innovators far ahead of their time. Everyone knows about smoke bombs, but the real ninja tools were far more sophisticated. They developed underwater breathing apparatus centuries before modern scuba gear. They created special boots that allowed them to walk on water, leading to legends of ninja with supernatural powers. One of their most remarkable inventions was the Mizugumo, or water spider. Think of it as medieval Japan's version of a Navy SEAL's gear. These were special floating devices attached to the feet, combined with a breathing tube made from hollowed-out bamboo. Historical records from the Sengoku period describe ninja using these devices to cross moats and rivers undetected, sometimes remaining underwater for hours while waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But perhaps the most fascinating technological achievement of the ninja was their mastery of chemistry. This brings us to our fourth shocking fact. Ninja were medieval Japan's premier explosives experts and chemical warriors. They didn't just use gunpowder for weapons. They developed sophisticated incendiary devices, smoke screens, and even primitive forms of tear gas. The Bansen Shukai, a 17th century ninja manual, contains detailed instructions for creating various chemical compounds. One particularly ingenious creation was the fire mist bomb. When thrown, it would release a cloud of fine powder that would irritate the eyes and throat, creating confusion and panic among enemy forces. Sound familiar? It's remarkably similar to modern riot control agents. But here's where it gets even more interesting. According to recovered documents from the Aiga province, ninja chemists discovered that mixing certain natural ingredients could create substances that would only ignite when exposed to water. Imagine the psychological impact when a castle's water supply suddenly burst into flames during a siege. These weren't just weapons, they were tools of psychological warfare designed to create terror and chaos. This brings us to our fifth mind-bending fact: the existence of kunoichi, or female ninja. Forget everything you've seen in movies about seductive assassins in tight black costumes. The real kunoichi were perhaps the most effective spies in history, and their methods were far more sophisticated than mere seduction. Take the story of Lady Mochizuki, a kunoichi who operated in the late 16th century. She spent years building her cover as a simple maid in a powerful daimyo's household. She didn't just gather intelligence, she carefully manipulated the relationships between different factions within the castle, playing on existing rivalries and creating new ones. By the time she completed her mission, the castle had torn itself apart from the inside, all without a single obvious act of violence. Kunoichi were trained in a specialized curriculum that went far beyond combat skills. They studied everything from psychology to politics, from medicine to music. They learned to read micro-expressions and body language centuries before these became recognized scientific concepts. They could detect lies by watching subtle changes in breathing patterns and could influence decisions through carefully crafted suggestions. Many kunoichi operated as entertainers, servants, or even Buddhist nuns, roles that made them practically invisible in medieval Japanese society. Yet, they were anything but powerless. Historical records suggest that some of the most significant political changes in Japanese history were influenced by kunoichi operating behind the scenes. This leads us to our sixth stunning revelation. The ninja's approach to mental training was centuries ahead of its time. Modern special forces units around the world now use techniques that ninja developed hundreds of years ago. The connection isn't coincidental. After World War II, American intelligence agencies studied ninja training methods while developing their own special operations programs. The ninja understood something that modern psychology has only recently proven. The mind and body are inseparable when it comes to performance under extreme stress. They developed breathing techniques that could lower heart rate and blood pressure at will, something that modern snipers and special forces operators now train to do. But it went beyond just stress management. Ninja meditation techniques included exercises in what we now call situational awareness. They would sit in crowded areas and practice being aware of everything happening around them while appearing to be completely absorbed in a simple task like drinking tea. This level of divided attention and controlled awareness is now recognized as a crucial skill for modern intelligence operators. Modern military units practice something called gray man training, the art of being so average-looking that no one remembers you. This wasn't inspired by Hollywood or video games. This came directly from studying centuries-old ninja manuscripts about the art of hiding in plain sight. And this brings us to our seventh and most shocking fact. The ninja never really disappeared. Their techniques and traditions have been quietly influencing modern military and intelligence operations for decades. In fact, many of their methods are more relevant today than ever before. Consider this. In the 1970s, the CIA's Office of Technical Service discovered a ninja manual that described methods for manipulating human psychology to gather intelligence. They were stunned to find that many of these techniques aligned perfectly with their most recent research in psychological operations. What the ninja had learned through centuries of trial and error, modern science was just beginning to prove. But it goes even deeper than that. The ninja understanding of information warfare, using manipulation, disinformation, and psychological operations rather than direct conflict, reads like a playbook for modern cyber warfare. They understood that the most effective way to defeat an enemy isn't always through direct confrontation, but through controlling and manipulating the flow of information. Take the ninja practice of spreading false rumors to create confusion and discord among enemy ranks. Today, we call this information warfare or psychological operations. The methods have evolved from whispered rumors to social media campaigns, but the underlying principles remain exactly the same. The ninja were also pioneers in what we now call social engineering, the art of manipulating people into giving up sensitive information. Modern cybersecurity experts teach corporations to guard against exactly the same types of manipulation that ninja used centuries ago. The tools may have changed from face-to-face deception to phishing emails, but the psychological principles remain identical. Even the ninja's approach to training has found new life in modern times. Their emphasis on developing both physical and mental resilience, their focus on adaptability over rigid techniques, and their understanding of the importance of psychological warfare. All these elements are now considered crucial components of modern special operations training. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit uses principles of human psychology that ninja understood centuries ago. Modern profilers study micro-expressions and body language to detect deception, exactly as ninja did. Military Special Forces units practice staying mentally calm under extreme stress, using techniques remarkably similar to ninja meditation practices. Perhaps most surprisingly, the ninja's approach to gathering intelligence through social manipulation has become more relevant in our digital age, not less. In an era where most people think of spying in terms of high-tech surveillance and computer hacking, human intelligence, gathering information through personal interaction and social manipulation, remains one of the most effective methods of espionage. This was the ninja's specialty, and it's still a crucial skill for modern intelligence operators. The ninja understood something that we're only now beginning to fully appreciate. The most effective operations are the ones that no one ever knows about. They knew that true power lies not in the ability to win conflicts, but in the ability to prevent them from happening in the first place. In our modern era of information warfare and cyber conflicts, this philosophy is more relevant than ever. So the next time you think of ninja, forget the black-clad assassins of popular culture. Think instead of the intelligence operators, psychological warfare experts, and master strategists who were so far ahead of their time that we're still learning from them today. The ninja may have disappeared from sight, but then again, that was always their specialty. Modern special forces personnel, intelligence agents, and cybersecurity experts might not wear black suits or throw shuriken, but they're carrying on a tradition that began with the ninja centuries ago. The shadows may have changed from dark castle corridors to the dark web, but the principles remain the same. The ninja's greatest victory wasn't in any battle or assassination. It was in creating methods and principles so effective that they're still being used centuries later. In a world increasingly dominated by information warfare and psychological operations, the ninja's ancient wisdom may be more valuable now than ever before. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the real world of the ninja. If you enjoyed learning about these fascinating historical agents and their modern influence, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We have many more exciting episodes about hidden aspects of Japanese history coming soon. And remember, the next time someone tells you ninja were just medieval assassins, you'll know better. They were something far more fascinating. They were the world's first masters of information warfare, and their influence continues to shape our world today.